Welcome to our latest webinar. So today's session is all around increasing your online donations. So I will be speaking for around 20 minutes with 10 top tips, and feel free to put any questions into the Q&A of the chat and we can pick those up at the end. For those of you who don't know, it's in the context of online donations, we develop a lot of compelling digital experiences, and we're also considered the leading experts in driving frictionless donations, because we do a lot of work in this area, and we also have products as well. Oops, let me just go to the next slide. So to sort of prove a little bit that we know what we're talking about, here's some nice stats of clients that we work with. We have a product called GoDonate that enables charities to take online donations, and we also work with charities to help them increase their online donations by improving their user experience. So we do have a lot of experience in this area. So this is where some of these top tips are coming from, is as a result of the work that we've been doing with our clients. So here's my top 10 tips for you this morning. I'm going to start off with a couple of broad, wider tips to think about, first of all, before going into some more detailed specifics. So the first one on a more broader point is, of course, around understanding your audience, but also looking at understanding your current supporter journeys. So one of the things that we really like to do is map out those supporter journeys. So looking at the different starting points where a donor might be coming from. So it could be from a TV campaign, it could be from an out-of-home advertising billboard, it could be a Facebook ad, or for an email that you sent to your warm audience. And then following that journey through to see what the experience is like. And the reason why we like to do this is because it's really good to be able to look at the pain points along the way, really, and also what the opportunities are as well. So, and the opportunities to engage or improve the experience. Are there certain points that they're dropping off, or it's not quite as on brand or on message as what it could be along the way? So really sort of mapping out those digital experiences can be really useful across all different devices and different channels. We also like to think about engagement-based giving as well. So we have a model called Engage, Connect and Convert. The idea is that you can't expect people to donate straight away. You need to warm them up, of course. So, you know, if you're going to a cold audience and you deliver them a Facebook ad asking them to donate, you can't necessarily expect them to be to cold. And it's really about recognizing that supporter journeys are not just a single entity, but instead they require numerous touch points that take place across channels and media and devices, because this is ultimately what supporter engagement is about and can lead to fundraising. You know, so the engage stage is about finding ways to be noticed and starting a conversation and gain relevance. Connect is about really having that two-way exchange, maybe value exchange, giving content, views and values. And then of course, Convert is ultimately leading them to make a donation or to support your cause. So what I mean by that is using all the sort of the marketing techniques available to move them on through the funnel. There's an opportunities to convert at any time, but it's about having different expectations and needs to be appropriate with almost micro conversions, we like to call them. And you know, when you're sort of dealing with more of a cold targeting strategy, then think about more content-led advertising. So, not have CPAs that's about donations, but then as you get further down that funnel, it's about offer-led advertising. So, for example, somebody searching online for information around breast cancer, serving them an advert for your donation to ask them to donate is not necessarily appropriate at that point. Instead, it might be that you want to send them to a Facebook page or to a blog with more information or a microsite or content. And then as they go further down the channel, as somebody maybe is searching more for how can they support breast cancer research, that's where you could start to then sort of push them down that funnel in that convert stage. So those are more broad ones. Going into more specific ones is, of course, we all talk about test and learn, we talk about multivariate testing, we talk about A/B testing, and we all know that small changes can make a difference. Now, we see a lot of great testing that goes on by our charities, many charities out there within social media or search. You're testing different Facebook ads or different messaging. But what I don't see enough of is enough testing within the actual donor experience itself once they've come through to your website to make that donation. And it's really important to be able to do more testing at this stage, because we know it can absolutely increase conversion. So on the left-hand side here, you can see just very simply, have you tried testing different donation prompts? It's normally relatively easy to do so. Have you tried tweaking? Let's say you have got 3 donation prompts like you have here of 10, 20 and £30. Have you tried tweaking those, making that middle one £25? If your average gift, for example, is say £8.20, what happens if you do sort of play around with these prompts to increase it up to £9, for example? That sort of type of testing, it all helps with conversion. On the right hand side here, you can see different tests around the messaging and the imagery. So it could be around the imagery, as you can see here. It could be about calling out a particular message within an image or outside of it. You can see here's some text here. It says, help feed our cats this summer. Just £10 can feed 1 cat for a month. Why not test that against help feed our cats this summer? Just £20 can feed 1 cat for 2 months. Does that make more people donate on £20 versus £10? And trying to do this type of testing, it isn't inexpensive. You can normally use tools like Google Optimize or Optimizely if your donation experience allows it, or you can do it easily in platforms like GoDonate. We've just launched a new product called GoDonate Plus that allows you to do this type of thing as well. So it is available to do it out there. Landing pages I really want to talk about. So your donation landing page is really important. It has a big job to do. You've got lots of different audiences coming to the donation page. That landing page, you'll have some that absolutely already know that they want to make a donation and they just want to get on with it. And you'll also have some that still need that convincing and they still need that additional motivation. You'll have some that have come through from different demographics. So people have come through an email or Facebook ad or whatever. You might have some that have come from a TV campaign. So does it join up with the messaging that they've seen elsewhere in the journey? It also needs to work well across multiple devices, of course. We all know that mobile is important, but absolutely it needs to work well across all those different devices. And we know that by focusing on your landing page can really help increase conversion. So as an example here, I like this one. This is one of our charities with cancer, children with cancer. We do an awful lot of user testing and analysis, and one of the things that comes up quite often is people want to know how their money will be used, and they want reassurance that their money is going to the right cause and is going to be used effectively. What I like about this landing page is on the left hand side, I've just split it out into the two there, but on the left hand side you've got a nice widget there which has the donation prompts and where your money could help. And it's got lovely imagery there on the right hand side. Underneath that there's an impact video, so a nice short 1.5 minute video that shows where the impact of the impact of your donations. And then if you scroll down on the right hand side there, you can see it's got where the money goes. So it sort of shows a nice little infographic to show you how much money is put towards a cause. And then there's also some additional content blocks and information around where the money is used. So really nice landing page. Also on the top right there, you'll see that if a user exhibits behavior where it looks like they're going to leave that page, or they've gone off for a long time, then it comes up with a prompt to say, please wait, are you sure, would you still like to donate? With these types of prompts, they can increase conversion. It's definitely worth testing because not everybody appreciates them, but definitely worth testing to see what kind of response you get. Tip number 5 is from our experiences, is making sure that you have that journey end to end with the same message and campaign throughout. So for example, if you're running a Christmas appeal, you need to make sure that your donor journey matches that appeal with the correct prompts that you've maybe put in your advertising, relevant content and imagery, right the way through to the thank you page and the thank you email as well. If you can get that journey to tailor it to the campaign, you will absolutely see an increase in conversion, as you can see here with Battersea. Number 6 is around removing distractions, and optimizing the journey. So I get asked quite a lot about, should the donation funnel sit within our website or should it be separate? My advice would be that it should be separate, but however, make sure that it's obviously the look and feel is very consistent so that users don't even realize they've gone to another website. The reason why we say it should be separate is because if you have it within your website and you've still got all the navigation at the top there that can navigate to other parts of your website, it's very easy to get distracted, and it's too easy for somebody to click away. By the time that they've come to this point where they've shown intent that they want to make a donation, they've looked at your landing page, they've gone through, they're starting to fill out a form, the last thing you want to do is have them click away at that point. You know, they should be absolutely in that moment. You want to convert them as quickly as possible. You don't want it to make it too difficult. The worst thing I see is when you see donation forms with lots and lots of fields, because that's really off-putting when people see that, or it says step 1 of 6 or something like that. Then what happens is, you know, people just think, oh, this looks a bit too difficult. I'll go and make a cup of tea and I'll come back and do it later, and then you've lost them. So, you know, don't ask for, in terms of fields, don't ask for data unless you really need it. Use technology to be able to minimize those fields and use good user experience to do that. Also important on your donation experience as well, to show, you know, that you're a real organization, your money is going to be safe with us. You know, if there's people are experiencing difficulties, make sure that you give them a telephone number to show them how they can donate in other ways if there's a problem. So really just think about the whole step of the journey. Don't lose them at that final stage. Tip number 7 is around consent. So in the world of GDPR, we all have to ask the questions, of course. But something to consider is how can you encourage people to opt in? You know, is there a way to sell it to them better rather than just saying, we'd like to keep in touch, please can you tick yes or no? We all know many users will potential donors will just skip past that because they don't know if you're going to spam them all the time with emails once you've done that, or by the post. So, you know, tell them what they're going to get. I mean, I know MSF, Medicines Sans Frontières, they do a lot of testing, and, you know, talk about the fact that here in this case it says you get a monthly email Frontline which provides first-hand accounts of our work. You'll get occasional emergency appeals. So it's really explaining to them what they're getting for that. You know, you could try using imagery. Does that help to increase opt-in as well? So being able to test these, absolutely. I've also noticed as well a trend in the last, probably only this last 6 months or so, that we've seen with charities seem to be, many are moving away from asking for consent for phone and SMS, and just now on their donation forms, and just now asking for email only sometimes, or email and post, which is more common, email and post. I'd be curious to know how many of you on the call are starting to do that. But yeah, we've definitely seen a bit of a trend there. And again, it's something you can test. Does just showing email and post opt-ins, for example, versus asking for all the 4 different types, does that help increase conversion? Who knows? So it's worth testing. Number 8 is around digital wallets. You know, we live and breathe online payments and innovation in online payments here. And, you know, why we love digital wallets is because they really do help streamline the donation experience. It's really frictionless if you implement it in the right way. With ones like Apple Pay, it means that, you know, you can literally donate within a few seconds. And in the background, we can grab all that data from Apple Pay and send it through to your CRM so that you don't have to ask all that information. What's great as well, also with these digital wallets, is that, as you'll have noticed, paying online with 3D Secure 2 is becoming more challenging. You often, when you go to donate now, you'll often get a text message come to your phone to say, you know, to confirm the payment that you're making. So this is just another barrier that we're finding that donors and people generally are having to have. Whereas if you use some digital wallets like Apple Pay and so on, often it removes that because you're using biometrics like your thumbprint or Face ID, so it helps remove that extra two-factor authentication. In terms of stats, we're seeing some really good take up now. So PayPal keeps growing. You know, it's 39% last year when we looked at across all the data. Apple Pay, slightly misleading by saying only 7%, because that was across data of all devices, including desktop and tablet. If you looked only at mobile, it would be a lot higher. So absolutely, we're seeing that, and Google Pay is not far behind. In terms of future options, though, what's happening with the world of digital wallets? So there are others out there like Amazon Pay and Samsung Pay. Amazon Pay really hasn't taken off yet in the UK. It's quite big in the States, but we've tested it, but the user experience is not brilliant yet. So I think they've got a little bit of work to do. But what is coming next year is open banking. We're starting to look at that now. You might start to see that pop up where it links with your bank account that's on your banking app, rather, on your phone, and it comes straight from your bank account. There's lots of good reasons why you might use that. Again, the user experience still needs a little bit of work, but that's definitely something we'll be looking at increasing and rolling out next year. Also, in terms of digital wallets, traditional businesses and charities, we've always used direct debit for many years, but we're seeing a real growth in digital wallets with recurring donations as well. And it makes sense because, you think about how life is changing. People want that choice. We don't pay for Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that through direct debit. We use it by card or PayPal or Apple Pay. And so, we are seeing a growth in this area. And as you can see from the data, around 35% now of recurring donations are now coming through these other methods instead of just direct debit. And we also do see a growth in conversion as well. So, for example, we did some testing with NSPCC for a few months. We had an A/B test, so we had some donors that were just seeing direct debit as an option, and some that were seeing direct debit and PayPal, and we saw a 50% increase in donations when offering the choice. So it can make a difference in conversion as well. People who've heard me speak before, you'll know that I love talking about QR codes. QR codes finally, as a result of the pandemic, have really taken off, and people are now much more used to them. You can just use the camera on your phone to scan a QR code. We started using them in restaurants to browse a menu, at cafes, etc. And of course, the Test and Trace app. So as a result of this, many organisations are now starting to look at QR codes more seriously and including them. I'm sure many of you are already including them in your direct mail packs, in out-of-home advertising, in your magazines. We also launched it with using QR codes last year with the Poppy Appeal for the Royal British Legion for being able to do quick donations. And what I love about QR codes are two things. One is, it's if you have a mobile optimized, very sort of almost QR code friendly or mobile optimized donation journey where it's really quick to donate, that when you scan it, it's literally just take the money. It's brilliant in that sense because it makes it really quick. But what also is great about it is that you can embed loads of data into a QR code. And loads of lovely tracking. So if you have got direct mail going out and you've got QR codes on those direct mail, you could potentially have some different variants as well. So segment your audience and have different QR codes with different maybe appeal IDs or other forms of tracking that you want to do. Different donation prompts that you can test. So absolutely do look at QR codes and including that in your wider material and just making sure it goes to a streamlined mobile first donation experience when you do that. We've got some of our charities now have been testing this and they've been seeing some great results as well. So one charity I've chatted to recently, they've said around 26% of their donations that come through are through QR codes through this way. So absolutely worth testing and seeing good responses. Final one before we go into questions is around tracking. We love data, love analysing data. It gives you great actionable insights. Please make sure that you have tracking across your donation experiences. If you can track the motivations, you can track the source, track the donation types, track your appeal codes, all of that great stuff, get all of that into your CRM as well, then you can do some really interesting things with that around ongoing supporter journeys, with messaging, testing, insight analysis. So yeah, lots of good stuff, and absolutely get your tracking in place. That was my quick top 10 tips this morning. So I'm pleased to put some questions into the chat. While you're doing that, just to give a little plug, if that's okay, to say we're just launching this month GoDonate Plus, which we're really excited about. It's a new version of our platform that enables you to obviously take donations online for your website, but importantly, it's got those campaign tools in there, so you can create tailored journeys and appeals right through from the messaging, through the imagery, donation prompts, etc., all the way through to the thank you page and an email. So feel free to drop me a note and I'm happy to show you a little demo and give you more information. And also there's even a QR code there for you to scan if you want to go off to the website and have a look. So that's it from me. So I guess over to questions. Have we got some questions coming in yet, John?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions. Thank you very much, Vicky. And thank you also for your questions. The first one that's come in is coming from Alice. and it's a question on landing pages.
Okay.
Very good question. So Alice wants to know about landing pages. I mean, in short, it's she's been advised is working to a strategy whereby there's a lot of distractions on the page, which or could be caused away from the call to action. So Alice would like to know what our thoughts are on putting links on videos and other things that may take people away from the call to action and call them back, or is it best to keep it absolutely clean and focused?
Yeah, good point. To be honest, that's where you need to look at your supporter journeys as well, because you've got different people come into that landing page. You need to understand where they're coming from and their motivation before they get there. Ideally, in an ideal world, you'd have multiple landing pages. So you would have some landing pages that are more for a warmer audience or a particular appeal, where you could then have different messaging, less distractions. For example, if they're a warm audience, you know that they just want to go through, versus somewhere a landing page where you might need to have that extra information because they're still not quite, some people that maybe still quite aren't there yet as to how much if they're willing to donate, they're still maybe thinking about it, but they're not committed. So really it's about doing a bit of testing. Ideally have multiple landing pages if you can, but certainly testing would be good as well. And understanding, those different donors that come into the page, what their motivations are and how close they are ready to donate, if that makes sense. You can also, of course, if you have got warm audiences, bypass the landing page, go straight to the donation experience and straight to the donation form. That's also possible as well, so that you're not given any distractions for those. So again, it's just sort of thinking about those user journeys.
Okay. Hope that satisfies you, Alice. And next question we have is from Sarah, and it refers to one of your points around digital regular payments. And the question is, do you recommend going with monthly as a default or single?
Oh, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. There's no easy answer to that. I'm afraid it does depend on your audiences, and it's worth testing, really. Some donors do get a bit annoyed, or if it's too unclear and they sort of start filling out a donation, they started off and it was monthly by default, and they start filling out and then they didn't realize it was monthly. They thought we were just giving a one-off gift. That can be upsetting for people. Likewise, though, if somebody's going in with a single donation, then absolutely you want to try and potentially cross-sell them monthly. So, I've seen that done in quite a nice few ways as well, where you're going through a single donation and you've got a nice little prompt to say, would you like to make this a monthly gift? If you did, here's the good reasons why you would do that. But otherwise, I would test it. If you can A/B test it, then that would be the best way forward.
Excellent, thank you. Again, I hope that satisfies you, Sarah. Those are the key questions that have come through so far.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure there are many more that are going to come through, but we've got about a minute or two because you've been very, very, very efficient on your 20 minutes.
Was it on 20 minutes today? That's good. That's good.
Bang on, absolutely bang on. And but I have one question which I think others participating may be interested in.
Sure.
So just before the pandemic, I think there was a lot of noise around integration of voice, Alexa, etc.
Oh yeah. And
I know that was one of your champions as well as QR codes. Where do you think we are with it now? Because it seems to have gone a little bit quiet since.
It has. So yeah, donating via voice. I mean, we launched that, and we've got charities like NSPCC. You can donate via voice, but with it has gone quiet. I think that the adoption is still there. We're still seeing a lot of Amazon Alexas in people's homes and so on. But the technology, there was a lot of hype around it being better than what it is. I mean, Amazon apparently have got 10,000 engineers working on Alexa, but there's still a bit of work to go, I think, before it becomes much more mainstream. But definitely watch your space. I think maybe it's a bit like QR codes. Maybe it was a bit ahead of its day, but keep watching this space because it will evolve and definitely will come back. But it's just not quite there yet, I think.
It will come back. Okay, we got one last question.
Sure.
Ali Wilson, Ali, morning to you. Has sent a question in which is about learnings on demographics, and she's looking particularly at groups and the propensity to use digital donating, i.e. is there a reticence for the older groups? Yeah,
sure. So not really, actually. I think it's it's a little bit of a myth that older generations don't donate online, because they do. We definitely see it. I haven't got any stats off the top of my head, I'm afraid, but we do see a lot of older generations donating, particularly PayPal. PayPal's very popular with the older demographic, I think partly because of probably because PayPal's been there with eBay all those years, and so there was a lot of people using PayPal that way. You are going to see less of them using Apple Pay and Google Pay and the more modern digital wallets, but still paying by debit and credit card. And for those that have got older audiences, making the forms and the donation experience as simple as possible is absolutely vital, because it can be confusing for people otherwise.
Good stuff. I think that's it for questions.
Perfect. Just before 10 o'clock.
Coming through, and I think I'm just going to say, I think we're bang on time, so I think we could probably pause it there. So thank you very much, Vicky, for this morning's insights. I think it's obviously been very, very popular. We've had a lot of people tuning in this morning. Hope you all got what you needed from it. And this whole series of webinars have been very, very popular for us. So top tips. So you can expect to see some more coming your way very, very soon. So watch your social media. Look out for emails. We'll be coming back with some more shortly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for attending, everyone.
Yeah.
For your messages.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Justin. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.